Europe, the continent that changed the world. But before the kings, before the empires, before the world wars, there were secrets hidden for thousands of years. Tribes who hunted mammoths, civilizations that vanished without a trace, and discoveries so advanced that modern scientists still can't explain them. From unimaginable wealth and bloody wars to revolutions that shook the very foundations of society, Europe's history is full of mysteries, betrayals, and moments that could have changed the world forever. Stay with me, because every century we'll uncover will reveal shocking truths you never learned in school, and some events might leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the world. Number 6. Prehistoric Europe, the dawn of civilization before 3000 BC. Long before kings, cities, or written history, Europe was a wild, untamed land where survival was a daily struggle. Neanderthals roamed the forests hunting mammoths, while Homo sapiens later arrived, bringing with them curiosity and ingenuity. In caves like Lascaux in France, early humans painted astonishing images of animals and rituals, a glimpse into minds thousands of years old. These paintings were not just art, they were the first attempts to communicate, to understand the world, and to leave a mark for future generations. Around 7000 BC, the Neolithic Revolution transformed life forever. Humans began domesticating animals, cultivating wheat, barley, and other crops, and building permanent settlements. Villages like Adelheik, though not in Europe, but influencing European migration, inspired communities across the continent. Tools were sharpened, pottery crafted, and trade networks emerged, connecting distant tribes. Europe had entered its first age of civilization, a time of survival, innovation, and the spark of human ingenuity that would shape everything to come. Number 5. Ancient Europe empires, philosophers and conquerors 3000 BCE, 500 C. As the Bronze and Iron Ages dawned, Europe transformed. Tribes evolved into kingdoms, and early civilizations began leaving permanent marks on the continent. Greece emerged as a powerhouse of culture and intellect. City-states like Athens became laboratories of democracy, where citizens debated the nature of justice and freedom. Philosophers such as Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle asked questions that still shape our world today. What is the purpose of life? How should humans govern themselves? At the same time, Sparta forged a society of warriors, where discipline and military prowess dominated every aspect of life. Meanwhile, Rome rose from a small city-state to a sprawling empire that would dominate Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Roman engineers built roads, aqueducts, and cities with precision and scale never seen before. Latin became the language of administration, law, and culture, leaving a legacy that survives even today. Yet the empire's grandeur couldn't withstand pressure forever. Waves of Germanic tribes, Visigoths, Vandals, and Ostrogoths, swept through Europe, sacking Rome, and by 476 C, the Western Roman Empire fell. Chaos spread, kingdoms fractured, and the stage was set for a new mysterious chapter, the Middle Ages. Number 4. Medieval Europe, the age of kings, castles, and crusades 1500 C. The Middle Ages were a time of extremes, darkness and light, brutality and beauty. After Rome's collapse, Europe fragmented into countless kingdoms, each ruled by kings and lords, whose power was often challenged by rivals or the church. Christianity became the unifying force, influencing law, morality, and daily life, while the Byzantine Empire preserved knowledge and culture in the East. Castles rose as symbols of power, fortified against both invaders and internal threats, and knights became legendary figures of courage and skill. But life for peasants was harsh. Famine, disease, and feudal obligations were constants. The Crusades began in 1096, sending armies to reclaim the Holy Land. They brought death and destruction, but also opened Europe to new ideas, exotic spices, and trade with distant lands. And then, disaster struck. The Black Death between 1347 and 1351 wiped out nearly one-third of Europe's population. Entire villages vanished, economies collapsed, and social hierarchies shifted. Survivors were forced to rethink society, labor, and faith. Yet from these ashes arose the Renaissance, a rebirth of curiosity, art, and science that would forever change the world. Number 3. Early modern Europe discovery, Reformation, and Revolution 1500–1800. The Renaissance was not just an era of art, it was a revolution of the human mind. From Florence to Paris, geniuses like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael redefined beauty, perspective, and imagination. Humanism placed humans at the center of thought, questioning centuries of religious dogma and tradition. But Europe was not united in belief. In 1517, Martin Luther nailed his 95 Theses to a church door, igniting the Protestant Reformation. Europe erupted in religious wars, with Catholics and Protestants clashing in battles that would shape borders and nations for centuries. Meanwhile, bold explorers sailed into uncharted oceans. Columbus stumbled upon the Americas, Magellan circumnavigated the globe, and Spain and Portugal amassed enormous wealth through colonies and trade. This era brought immense knowledge, wealth, and cultural exchange, but also conquest, exploitation, and the brutal realities of colonialism. Europe was expanding faster than ever before, reshaping not only itself, but the entire world. Number 2. Modern Europe industry, nationalism, and World Wars 1800–1945. The 19th century saw Europe transformed by fire, steam, and ambition. The Industrial Revolution turned farms into factories, cities expanded at unprecedented rates, and smokestacks filled the skies. Life changed, but progress came at a price: child labor, dangerous working conditions, and massive social upheaval. Nationalism surged, creating unified nations like Germany and Italy, but also fueling rivalries that would erupt into global conflict. World War I, the war to end all wars, unleashed unimaginable horrors: trenches, chemical warfare, and millions of deaths. Recovery was brief, and Europe plunged into the even greater catastrophe of World War II. Number 1. Contemporary Europe rebuilding, unity, and challenges 1945–present. After the Second World War, Europe faced a monumental task rebuilding not just cities, but trust, economies, and societies. The continent was split by the Cold War, the democratic West and the communist East, where life was defined by ideology and surveillance. Nuclear fear loomed over everyday life, yet Europe persevered. The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 and the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 marked the dawn of a new era. Nations reunited, economies stabilized, and the European Union emerged to promote peace, trade, and cooperation. But Europe still faces challenges: migration crises, political divisions, economic inequality, and the constant balancing act between tradition and progress. Every city, every monument, every law and idea you see today is a thread in the tapestry of thousands of years of history, a history that still shapes our world in ways you can't even imagine. So next time you walk through the streets of Europe or read about its past, remember these stories of power, mystery, and innovation are far from over, and history is always watching.